You ever wake up to find your own backyard lined with neon orange survey flags like somebody's running a marathon through your tomato patch, except you're not invited, and the finish line is apparently your shed? That was my Tuesday. Before I'd even finished my first cup of coffee, there's this rented skid steer humming right up against my fence, idling like it's waiting for a green light that'll never come. And standing there barking orders at three confused landscapers who looked like they'd rather be anywhere else was Denise Kroll, the HOA president herself, rocking that sun visor and a clipboard like she's ready to rewrite the neighborhood's constitution. So I step outside mostly to make sure nobody's about to flatten my garden gnome, and Denise turns to me with this smile like a cat that's already eaten the canary and now wants your sandwich too. She says, "We're reclaiming HOA property, Mr. Mercer." I asked her straight-faced, "Whose we is that, Denise?" She goes, "It's in the plat. The HOA owns your backyard." Not their backyard, not a backyard, my backyard, like I'm some squatter on my own land. And here's the kicker, she announces, they'll be taking my shed by noon like it's a pizza order with a 30-minute guarantee. Yeah, that happened. I'm Calvin Mercer, by the way. Software developer, coffee snob, and a guy who treasures his privacy more than his Wi-Fi password. I moved to Cedar Hollow for the kind of quiet that makes you double-check your heartbeat. I keep to myself tomatoes, chess puzzles, and this 2x4 workbench I built so perfect I swear even the tape measure got nervous. Denise. She's the exact opposite. That woman walks around with a laser measurer holstered on her hip, slinging citations like they're confetti. She speaks in bylaws the way most people quote movies. She once fined a neighbor for unapproved shade density. Seriously. We had this tense truce for a while, right up until I swapped out a few rotten fence panels and apparently committed a felony by not emailing her first. After that, the paper cuts came flying citations for unauthorized perimeter encroachment, a $450 lot realignment fee payable to Cedar Hollow Enhancement Group, LLC, which, no surprise, is her husband's business. She started waving around this amended plat at board meetings like it was the Dead Sea Scrolls, claiming my deed only covered the house itself, not the yard. You'd think I bought a floating house with grass privileges. Then she posts a map on Facebook, big red polygon hacking 22 feet off my lot like she's drawing up World War II borders and tacking it onto her plan for a community orchard. Next thing I know, she's hopping my gate claiming inspection purposes. Chalk marks on my patio, zip-tied warnings on my grill, threatening $6,000 to remove illegal structures. Which, get this, are just my cedar shed and 2 tomato cages. The only thing they threaten is her sense of control. I finally install a security camera because at this point I'm starting to feel like I'm living in a sitcom, except the laugh track's just my own nervous cackling. Denise emails the whole neighborhood claiming I'm surveilling common property. The woman should have written thrillers honestly. Every week a new violation. Trim my own hedges, unauthorized landscaping. Move my patio chairs. Violates aesthetic guidelines that don't even exist. Trash cans behind a privacy fence on non-collection days. That's a $50 fine because apparently I'm lowering property values with my Tupperware. And every one of these tickets comes with a deadline meant to stress you out. Certified letters at weird hours, emails in all caps at 2 a.m. or 6 on a Sunday morning. At one point, she claimed I owed over $4,000 in fines for stuff that ranges from maybe to absolutely made up. I thought, you know what, time to get off the roller coaster. So I went down to the county recorder's office, figuring at the very least I'd get to tell my story to someone not wearing a sun visor. The clerk there, sweet older lady, looked like she'd seen every kind of neighbor drama dug through decades of microfilm. After an hour, she slides out the original 1949 deed, all meets and bounds and old-timey penmanship, spelling out my lot like a treasure map. Says right there my land runs to the old oak, then 42 feet to the creek, plus a narrow drainage easement out of reach of any HOA nonsense. And she finds hand-drawn survey maps, too. Even the faded inks got more authority than Denise's laser pointer. Turns out every deed since then confirmed the same boundaries, including the one I signed just 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Denise's so-called amended plat never recorded at the county. Her printout's parcel number doesn't even match mine. And get this, her HOA newsletter's using a city seal that's been out of use since 2012. That's when my brain says, maybe you should call your title insurance company. So I email them, attach everything, and 2 hours later, a lawyer's calling me, suddenly very interested. You know it's bad when lawyers materialize faster than Amazon packages. Next Saturday, Denise rolls up in a truck with her skid steer guy and a bolt cutter, big production, right? She hands me a lien for $18,400, signed by herself as HOA president. What she doesn't realize, I've invited some friends. There's the county surveyor, the deputy from the recorder's office, and my title insurer's attorney, all standing in my driveway sipping coffee and looking way too cheerful. Surveyor sets up his tripod, measures. My lot drops, survey pins. Right where my yard's always been, thank you very much. The deputy asks Denise, "Where'd you file this lien?" she says. "At the HOA office, all smug." Deputy just grins, says, "That's not a legal place to file liens, ma'am." The lawyer steps up, hands Denise a letter spelling out that faking property records is, an actual crime. Even the skid steer shuts off like it wants no part of this drama. So we all parade down to the recreation center for an emergency HOA meeting. I show up with photocopies of the original deed, the old plat, and even an affidavit from the last homeowner, the guy who planted the oak tree Denise claims belongs to the community. Title company lawyer sets up a projector, throws Denise's amended plat on the big screen, then clicks layers in the PDF. Suddenly the whole room goes silent, because you see on the screen layers named move line to take backyard and add city seal, and the one that makes the whole room gasp, fake stamp V3. Neighbors look at Denise like she's just been caught keying her own car for the insurance money. Then the treasurer, hands trembling, stands up and admits Denise has been ordering survey consulting and boundary enforcement from her husband's LLC. The HOA spent $38,000 of everyone's dues on nothing but mulch and made-up paperwork. He pulls out invoices, property line verification services for $6,000, no actual work, just big words and empty envelopes. The board suspends her on the spot. A county patrol officer who's been hanging back steps up and takes an official report, filing a false instrument, attempted theft by deception, criminal trespass. Denise tries to spin it, says people are taking things out of context, but that screen's still showing fake stamp V3 in 40-point font. After that, the neighbors start sharing their own stories, bogus fines, weird invoices, made-up violations. People are mad, but you can feel the relief too. Like someone finally turned off the alarm clock that's been blaring for years. Within a month, Denise is voted off the board unanimously. A judge bars her from any HOA leadership for 10 years. She pleads to a misdemeanor for the false filing, has to pay every cent back. Here's the part that made me laugh in the settlement. She has to replace my fence pay, all my legal fees, and fund a scholarship for a local surveyor, chosen by the same county recorder she tried to outmaneuver. An independent audit shows the HOA never owned a single inch of anyone's backyard. The whole thing was, as the title lawyer called it, a beautiful twist of geometric justice. But the universe wasn't quite done. That audit found Denise's own fancy retaining wall encroached 2 feet into a city easement. City made her rip it out and plant native grass, the same messy landscaping she'd fined everyone else for. When the judge read out the final order, $12,000 in restitution, my fees, the audit. Denise tried to argue it was all too much, that she was protecting property values. Judge looked at her over his glasses and said, "Ma'am, fabricating legal documents isn't property management. That's fraud." Her lawyer just put a hand on her arm like, "Please stop talking, you're not helping yourself." It was over. You could see the whole neighborhood, people who'd been living scared, finally relax. They started chatting again, swapping tomatoes, laughing about the great fence rebellion. Cedar Hollow felt like a real place for the first time in years. And as for me, I still keep to myself, but every once in a while I catch folks pausing by my yard admiring the straightest fence in the neighborhood, no laser needed. Sometimes I wonder how many HOAs out there have a Denise drawing their own maps, dreaming up bylaws, betting nobody'll stand up. What would you do if someone tried to redraw your life with a fake line? Let me know down below, because honestly, these stories never end with just a fence. If you made it this far, drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA, or maybe caught someone in a little geometric justice of your own? Hit subscribe, share your story, and tell me what's the wildest thing your HOA's ever tried. I'll be reading every single one, because sometimes the best justice is knowing you're not alone.